Alrighty, so the first OSU game of the year already over. I like noon games simply because the drinking starts early, which means it peters out much earlier in the evening. And what was the final score? I believe was 45-21. I can look that up to be sure. But anyway, good solid game as far as it goes. Some mistakes were made here and there. Some, things were capitalized on here and there. Typical OSU game. You know what I'm sick of seeing, and that I'm happy I didn't see this time, is that they scored like 28 points early on. Like, I believe in the first quarter, and I was half awake through most of it. I tend to wake up. I work nights, so I tend to sleep during the day. But I'm tired of OSU being called a second half team. I'm tired of us trying to own that name. We're not a second half team. We're a fucking scoring team. I'm not even an OSU fan, and it's just annoying as shit. How in the hell what does that mean? You fuck off the first half of the game and then come from behind and, give them a chance to get some points ahead? No, fuck that. Eat every second of the game you can by scoring against them every second you can. I'm aggressive like that. Competitive gamer mentality. I like seeing a bunch of points scored early in the game by OSU. I really like to see that. I don't like to see us taking our time to get some points and shit done. Like I said, this second half team bullshit has got to go, and I like to see that it's off to a good start this year. That being said, heading into campus here at 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Traffic doesn't look too bad, but I have decided to jump off High Street for my trip in, just to avoid the larger part of the traffic. It's not a bad little drive, not a bad little neighborhood. It's not cheap. There is nothing cheap down here in the short north. Or not short north, but German Village. This whole area is old. And as you can see, full of... This guy's doing 20 now. I mean, I understand there's a red light ahead, but there's a red light a block and a half ahead. There's no need to... Anyway. So I'm hoping to see at least some decent delivery numbers tonight. Not huge. But summer is over. It has been slow, as it usually is on the OSU campus during summer. Very happy to see the game officially starting the busy season of the year back off. Not a bad looking city. 16th largest in the nation. The biggest problem I have with Columbus, I've said this again and again, and I keep saying again and again and again, the biggest problem I have with Columbus is that there is nothing to do after midnight. If you drink, you can do that until 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, and then that's it. I think there's a 24-hour bowling alley up at 161 in Cleveland. There are a couple 24-hour laundromats, self-serve, some 24-hour full-serve. But there's really nothing to do in this town once it gets late. The whole city seems to shut down and go to bed right around like 11 o'clock or so. You get sometimes a last bit of like a midnight showing of a movie that's just coming out for special events, but even that is, few and far between. Columbus, Ohio is not a small town. But we hold on to that small town, that cowtown mentality, because there's nothing to do late at night. Not at all. And it's not there isn't a healthy late night community. I know plenty of people that work third shift. There's nothing to do for us late in the morning. And late in the morning, I mean, I get out of work at 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. That's when my shift ends and I get to bug out the back door and run for home. There's nothing to do for me. I can't even stop off at a store and pick up alcohol if I wanted to drink, because we stopped selling alcohol here in Columbus at 1 o'clock. But no store is open at 1 o'clock in the morning to sell fucking booze, except the convenience, like the gas stations. Sure as hell not going to find a state liquor store open at 1 a.m. We've got a lot of places for people to live, a lot of housing. We have a lot of stuff. But as I said, the biggest problem is there's nothing to do here late at night. There are almost no 24-hour businesses. And the ones that are more service-oriented. You got a couple 24-hour restaurants, so you can go grab a snack, but you're sure as hell not going to see a first-run movie. And it's not like it would really take that much to draw in enough of a crowd to make it worthwhile. There would be people who want to see a late night showing of a movie, like, man, imagine when The Lord of the Rings came out, if there'd have been 24-hour movie showings. The theaters that would have done that would have made a killing. I think a couple of them might have. I seem to recall seeing that here and there. But we need more of a nightlife here in Columbus. All of this is new. Everything along 4th Street here, just as you come out of downtown and get past the Smith Brothers building there, everything from 670 forward is just new housing all the way up until here. And here, this is just old properties. This stuff's been here since the 20s, I think. Some of these houses and apartments were built for people coming back from World War I in some of the older places. This area has really needs development. Delivered to that guy right there. He's got a whole yard full of peaches. They've got two gardens on 4th Street, a third community garden over here on 5th Street. It's not a bad area. It used to have a really terrible reputation through here for being a lot of drugs and a lot of, a lot of the black market. Criminal activity. I like Columbus. I really do. I don't find anything I really hate about the town. A lot of the shit that I have problems with are... Look, they've found that a lot of our systematic police force interactions are racist. That there are a bunch of racially motivated shit. But the problem is that the cops themselves aren't specifically racist. And it's not that the cops are shooting more black people. It turns out it's not the shootings where the racism's occurring. Generally speaking, the racism is occurring in a couple levels down. Assault, that kind of shit. How much more often do the cops use aggressive force with minorities than they do with white people, to put it in simple terms? That is a problem. And the larger problem with Columbus is that it's not just that our cops have a little bit of a racist bent, it's that they're dicks all the way around. And I mean, props to them for being, non-discriminatory in their dickbaggedness, but there it is. Are there some decent cops? There are always some decent cops. There's always ones that shine above the rest and make the whole fucking group look better. That's how it is with all groups of humans. The problem is the opposite is true. That there are some just dickbags that drag the entire group down. And if you don't excise those from your group, you become at least mildly complicit. You are allowing them to sit. So the cops aren't a huge problem here, but if you create any kind of conflict whatsoever, they are a huge problem. It's like knowing where a hornet's nest is. And as long as you avoid that hornet's nest, shit's okay. Mostly. Every now and then you'll have to, deal with a hornet that flies into your nest and you kind of just shoo it away, and it's not really a problem most of the time. But then sometimes you'll forget where it is and you'll step right in that son of a bitch, and then they're all on you. There's no good fucking reason for it. They're just overreactive at times. Yeah, it's not justifying, it's just simply explaining, making the statement that, hey guys, it's a roadway. Well, back to this paradigm where, as a delivery driver, people have forgotten that it's a roadway. Pedestrians do not have the right of way in a roadway. Pedestrians have the right of way on a sidewalk. Period. That's it. On a sidewalk. You have the right of way in a crosswalk while the crosswalk is actively green for you to have the right of way cross. That's not an anytime you step in the crosswalk kind of thing. So, I like Columbus. We need more nightlife. My night is just getting ready to begin. Like I said, first OSU game of the night just ended. It's a good call. What was the end score? And that was, 45-21. Was that Florida Atlantic